Hello and welcome to Charter's Local Edition. I'm your host, Lori Farkas. We're in Cheyenne, Wyoming at the WAM convention, and we're visiting with all sorts of mayors and city leaders for the next day or so, telling us about what is going on in your great cities. Joining us now is Mayor David Paulekas, and you're from Laramie, which is, we were just talking, it's sort of everybody's city in Wyoming, because at one point in time, I think almost everybody either goes through Wyoming or goes through Laramie to go to a football game, basketball game, or maybe you've lived there to go to college. Tell us a little bit more about your great city.
Or maybe you're sending one of your children there to go to college.
That's right. I'm helping fund your city.
At some point in time, everyone, it's safe to say the majority of people in Wyoming have a connection to Laramie. Mm-hmm. It's our educational community within the state. Mm-hmm. It's a very unique community. It's a community of 32,000 people, which is third in our state. However, if you were to factor in the number of students we have in the state, which is approximately somewhere around, well, there's 10,000 that go to the university, plus a few more thousand that go to other institutions, we're really only a community of about 18,000. Mm-hmm. So what that creates is two Laramies. The Laramie when the students are there, mm-hmm, during the school year, and of course the Laramie in the summertime. It's a very quiet town that doesn't take very long to get around in. The other interesting thing about Laramie is some of the facts about Laramie is we live in a community that 50% of our population over the age of 25 have a college degree. Mm-hmm. 95% of our citizens, adult citizens, have a high school degree. So we're a highly educated community. We're also a community that the commute time within Laramie is less than most places in Wyoming. Mm-hmm. The facts are it takes about 11 minutes average to get around Laramie, whereas even in Wyoming, in our rural environments, it takes about 18 minutes for the average community. Yeah. So we're a great community. Yeah. We're a community that loves to cycle. We've got a very flat terrain, and people find, particularly the students, mm-hmm, that it's really easy to get around on bikes. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Until that first snowstorm hits. And then it becomes a little bit more challenging. Now they've got fat tire snow bikes, and you see them out there doing it. That's a brilliant invention. Speaking of inventions, you've got some great businesses in Laramie, and I can't believe how much that city has really taken off in terms of economic development. Right. You've got Tri-Hydro, you've got Well Dog, Highvis, just to name a few. Tell us a little bit about the business community and how that's developing.
Ever since I've been on council, which has been the past 6 years, we've put a very high emphasis on economic development. We have identified a problem in our community, and that is one thing I should mention about Laramie too. Even though we are 32,000, our average age in Laramie is 26 years old. Wow. It's a community of youth. And unfortunately, it's difficult, or in the past, we haven't been able to create the jobs for the youth. They want to stay. They want to graduate from the University of Wyoming, and they want to stay. And we've identified that we'd love to have them. They're a valuable asset to us, and it would be wonderful if we could create the jobs for them. So, what we've tried to do is we've tried to be very aggressive in economic development. We've tried to recruit tech firms, and we've been somewhat successful, and we're moving forward in that plane. What
are some of the things you're doing to lure businesses in?
One of the things we've done is we've created a tech park on the north end of town. It's called Sierra Sky. We went to the Wyoming Business Council. We were able to get a grant for about $5.4 million. We put in another couple of $1 million through like-kind work and donations and so forth. Finally, that tech park is up and at 'em. We've got a company presently starting to build construction up there, which is UL Laboratories, which is one of the ones you mentioned. UL Laboratories, you probably all are familiar with it. It's a testing laboratory. You usually see the UL signature on a lot of your electrical,
Absolutely. I've
your
seen
different
that.
electrical and light bulbs and so forth and so on. Well, they recognize the talent we have in Laramie with our youth, and they are starting up we're building about a 10,000 square foot building for them to move into, hopefully sometime in 2016.
Well, and that is an issue with a lot of businesses. I hear it all over the country that they're looking for that workforce, and they're looking for that educated workforce. And so the workforce used to travel to the business. Now the business is coming to the workforce.
Right.
And that maybe is something we can really capitalize on.
We also feel that our quality of life, and I think our young population has recognized this. Our quality of life is such that it's a small town that has a lot of big town amenities because of the University of Wyoming, because of the sports, because of the cultural events we have and so forth. It really has something for everybody. The other part to it is we're not really that far from our outdoor activities.
Right, Vidavoo is just down the road, the snowy mountains.
I never realized how many people enjoy rock climbing.
That's a whole subculture.
Yes.
that is very interesting.
And the interesting thing about it is we actually have in Vidavoo, which is halfway between Laramie and Cheyenne, one of the best rock climbing places in the United States.
Yes, it is absolutely world class, and they do come from all over the world, and it's somewhat of a, it's kind of like the Mount Everest of rock climbing.
The other unique thing about our area is because of the Snowy Range so close to us, or the Sherman Hills Mountains, you literally can. It takes 15 minutes to get to a place where you can do cross-country skiing, and in the wintertime, it's a situation where people can just jot up there during their lunch hour, spend a half hour or so on the cross-country trails, and then turn around and go back to work.
Right, that is really phenomenal.
We've also got an alpine ski area, which is about 30 miles west of town, which is an asset to our area.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're at the WAM convention, and which is the Wyoming Association of Municipalities. So all of the mayors and city leaders gather here.
Right.
Tell me why that is important for you to be here, and what you hope to glean from this experience and take back home to your community.
I think there's two things. I think first of all, you have an opportunity to sit in on some classes and some seminars on various topics that are important to elected officials. To me, what that means is it allows me to basically enhance my field or enhance my level. And the other part to it is the networking. I have challenges, and I have a lot to learn within my job, and it's wonderful to talk to other mayors, other council people, to see how they're doing, how they handle things, and what their challenges are within their communities, because it's in some ways we're very similar.
Right. Do you guys reach out and gals reach out to each other a lot during the year and pick up the phone and say, hey, I've got this going on. Have you lived through this before?
Not enough. I think we should do more of it. Matter of fact, I was talking to Mayor Kaysen, and I suggested that we actually develop some sort of a communication where once every 2 or 3 months we meet, perhaps as part of the council and the mayors, to just discuss and to try to figure out better ways of doing things.
Yeah. Well, nowadays you can just turn on the computer and Skype. Makes it so easy.
Well, that's that's correct. But what I really want to emphasize is our strength is our youth in Laramie. Our strength is and they've got so much energy and so much talent, and we need to do a better job of taking advantage of that, and that's what we've tried to do.
So when you look down the road at your goals that you've set for yourself as mayor, youth would be at the top of that. How do you envision that looking in maybe 5 years, 10 years, if you had your wish?
My goal as an elected official or as mayor is to make Laramie a better place to live. We have economic development to create the jobs, to keep people in the community, but the reason for economic development in my mind is to create better qualities of life. And those type of things, those bike trails, those different amenities at the parks, the golf courses, that type of thing requires dollars.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to develop these type of amenities when you've got income coming in or when you've got a population that's thriving and being successful. So the big picture, that's my goal within the community. I have a lot of little projects that I'd like to see come to fruition. Some of them will, some of them won't. But
well, and you know, the
goes.
kids are great too. I had the great opportunity of going through freshman orientation with my child a couple weeks ago, and I was just very pleased to see the whole city of Laramie working so wonderfully together and really supporting that youth group. So,
Yeah.
well, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure visiting with you. Good luck to the City of Laramie. We've been visiting with Mayor David Paulekas of the City of Laramie, and you've been watching Charter's Local Edition, and we'll see you next time.